All right, and we're back for another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford. Come right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows. And if you can, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts now as well. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Game Source, the great guys at LakerHolics.com, and of course, our wonderful friends at the Hoopheads Podcast Network. It is sincerely appreciated. Well, good news for Lakers fans when we found out that not only would Avery Bradley would be staying around, not only would Austin Reeves be staying around, but Stanley Johnson is going to be staying around a little bit longer as well, as Stanley Johnson got an extension, or actually got a 10-day contract given to him, an actual official NBA, not a hardship, an official NBA 10-day contract. We'll see how far it can go. I think at this point, people are now saying that he should be getting at least another 10-day beyond that and hopefully sign for the rest of the season. So we'll see what happens there. But the other two guys in question, Austin Reeves and Avery Bradley, they got their deals fully guaranteed as of today because the deadline came up. And good thing that happened, because for Avery Bradley, we needed all the offense we could get today because there was very little defense to be found today. It was quite.
I disagree.
Yeah, I don't. Because, okay, 134 to 118, the Lakers in a high-scoring, outscoring affair outscored the number 2 offense in the league in the Atlanta Hawks. Again, a great offensive performance. At times, it was the defense, it was on both sides, was just really, really terrible to watch. But again, on the offensive side of things, it was really well done. Execution by the Lakers, for the most part, outside of some muffs by Russell Westbrook. Again, it's a up and down road with him, but still, for the rest of the team, it was really, for the most part, a very good game, because you had LeBron dishing it out there, even though he was struggling in the first half with his shooting, executed down the stretch. Also, as well, you had Malik Monk breaking out with a tremendous game. His status as a starter is being cemented each and every game. He's just truly sensational. Did a great job today for Malik Monk. And that for today, he did 29 points on 7 of 12 from three-pointers. Avery Bradley, 4 of 7 from 3 and 21 points. Did a great job, especially in the first half. And also, of anybody, tried to do the best job he could and actually did a fair job on Trae Young today. Also, as well, you had LeBron James chipping in with 32 with a strong second half. And down the stretch, he finally started getting aggressive and going to the basket. I really like to see that. 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. Russell Westbrook, he gets credit for the highest plus-minus on the team at plus 22. But again, it was a roller coaster ride. 9 points, 13 assists, 11 rebounds. And the team actually kind of played better after he fouled out of the game. But, that's just me saying that. And that's just me seeing that. But we'll leave that at there. But also as well, THT, who's been much maligned in the past few days outside of his decent game the other day, finally had a really strong game at 21 points coming off the bench, even though he's still his three-point shot, if he stays out there on the perimeter, it's really hard for him. But if he's driving to the basket, it's a lot better for him, and he feels more comfortable, and it obviously looks that way. But the team, again, really did a great job on the offensive side of the ball as they won 134 to 118 over the Atlanta Hawks. And here today to talk about the game and the offensive juggernaut when we have our small ball lineup is a good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out today with all his great articles and all his great tweets at LakerTom on Twitter, also as well LakerHolics.com. And LakerTom, you really can't justify it's a great defensive effort when you give up 118 points. But
you have to keep everything in perspective, Gerald.
But a tremendous offensive performance yet again this week with 134 on the board. You can't argue with that.
I will argue with it. I'll argue with it in this way, that what we're seeing today is exactly what the Lakers planned during the offseason. They were going to sacrifice some defense for superior offense. In other words, rather than depending on or making decisions based upon a player's defensive rating. They were going to look at his net rating. And the reason I say that this game was not a poor defensive game is because the reason we won this game was our defense. And I think you will see that same. You can't deny we had a great shooting. We shot 17 threes. We played extremely well, but we also scored 28 points off of turnovers compared to 13 from them. The margin in this game was the 15 points spread that we got on them on turnovers. And a lot of it was LeBron James in the second half, stripping the ball off of their big players, creating turnovers, guys jumping into the passing lanes. A lot of the scoring that you see in the game is going to be that way simply because we're playing at a different tempo than we've ever played before. We're scoring higher. That means that there are more opportunities to shoot for both teams. So you're going to get more points. I mean, Jack in the Box may have to raise the ratio from 111 because tonight they didn't get any free tacos because we gave up too many points. But the simple fact is that you're not going to hold a team like Atlanta that's a number 2 team in the league under 100 points.
Oh, no, am I asking to? But at times.
Yeah, but listen, look at how well we played, how few turnovers we made.
But I'm also looking at the fact that on 3 occasions we had double-digit leads and gave them up rather easily and rather quickly.
It's the nature of a game with 3-point shooting.
I understand.
They're an excellent 3-point shooting team.
And in the NBA with runs, you're going to have that.
Yeah,
but
it's
still,
Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich kept them in the game. Bogdanovich got as hot as Malik Monk was in the first half there.
But when you have a small ball team like the Lakers do, that's got to be of concern to you as far as the defense of the rebounding.
I think the point I'm trying to make, Gerald, is that you can't judge the game with the same criteria because it's not the same game. This is a small ball game. We're going to give up points in the paint, but we're also going to score a lot of points in the paint because we're quicker and faster, and mainly because we spread the floor. So there are lanes for everybody to drive now. That's what you're seeing. So the offense we're scoring we're taking a shot sooner in the 24-second clock, and we're scoring sooner in the 24-second clock. And the other team is doing the same thing. And we had a lot of fast breaks tonight. A lot of those fast breaks were the results of those turnovers. A lot of those were because of the generating the 28 points that we got off of turnovers. So our defense is really our entire strategy is our defense ignites our offense. Now that's almost the perfect scenario you want, because if your offense is, you need your offense to basically take advantage of those situations where you really have a guy in the open, where you can really turn the ball over and it's a live ball turnover rather than the dead ball turnover. And the Lakers defense, I thought, was excellent tonight. I'll be interested to see what the defensive rating for the team was and the relative defensive ratings for the players. But I think you'll see that one of the tones will be, yeah, we had a great night. We had great shooting. We had some great games from Monk and from THT and from Melo and from Avery Bradley. I mean, Avery Bradley sure paid off tonight. I don't know how you're going to get Bradley or Monk out of the starting lineup. I mean, it's Stanley Johnson. This guy's going to be removed when AD comes back. But Stanley did a good job defensively, and I thought I saw great defensive efforts by Reeves tonight. I saw great defensive efforts by Monk tonight. LeBron was just sensational. He must have had 4 or 5 strips of guys going up for shots. Stanley Johnson, I thought, did a great job. I mean, I thought the team's identity tonight was exactly what their identity is, a small ball team, which is a feisty defensive team that's going to get at you. They're going to fight on every rebound. They're going to fight on every pass in the post. They're going to fight on every shot underneath. And I saw that tonight. I don't care if they foul the guy. At least they're trying to keep him from scoring. There wasn't a whole lot of that easy dunking that we saw in other games. And when you play if you've ever played the game and you go out there and you know that you're undersized, man, you got to hit your shots. And you're going to give up easy baskets underneath because size really does matter in basketball, especially when
that's what I'm saying. Right now, you're going to see a lot of defensive lapses with the small.
Yeah, but imagine that. Okay, so take what you saw tonight, pull out Stanley Johnson, put Anthony Davis in there, put the bubble Anthony Davis in there.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
This team is gonna be unbeatable.
You have to preface that with the bubble Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
You
but
cannot preface that with
listen, the bubble Anthony Davis was probably not the true Anthony Davis, but what we've seen this year isn't the true Anthony Davis either. It's something in between this.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I mean, something like last season. Last season before he got
I refuse to take any negatives out of a game like this, Gerald.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell it straight up as is. There's still defensive.
You're going to tell it straight up as your blurred vision is.
No, as your blurred vision has it right there as well. Frank Vogel.
This is the best win against the best team that we've beaten this year.
I don't know. The Hawks are kind of like 17-21 right now. That isn't really denote to me a great team. And again, there's several defensive lapses.
Eastern Conference semifinals.
The Lakers have to right now when they have a small ball team. You got
how much did Trey get tonight? He had 56 the other night. What did he get tonight?
Well, again, I see 118 on the board, and you're going to right now when you're talking about what Frank Vogel looks at, he's going to talk about the great offensive performance. But again, there's still lapses on defense that this team has to overcome. But when you're playing small ball,
nothing like earlier in the season. Nothing like earlier in the season, though.
No, not right now.
When we lost that lead in the first half, it was mostly because of poor offensive execution, poor shot selection, and turnovers. Russ had like back-to-back turnovers and so forth.
But again, there's also, because there's small ball, you're going to have these defensive lapses. It's just the way that this team, you have to live with this team as far as that's concerned.
There's a difference between defensive lapses and getting beaten by size. They're
going to have defensive lapses all over the place. They hit a tremendous amount of threes at times.
Did you notice who won rebounding? How do we do rebounding against them?
Rebounding, we still lost the battle, but it was a close.
How many rebounds? 53 to 56.
We lost the battle on the rebound board, but not as bad as when we were got.
And how about points in the paint?
How many points in the paint? We lost that battle too, 56 to 54.
50, so that's we lost the points in the paint by 2. And how many rebounds were we out rebounded?
Again, we were.
How many?
It doesn't matter. I just told you.
How many rebounds were we out rebounded?
We were out rebounded 53 to 47. So there you go.
We were out rebounded 6 by a team much bigger, and we let them get 2 more points in the paint.
All right. Again, I'm not gonna get you into arguments with you on this. Again, several defensive lapses, which still is a concern when you have a small ball team, but a truly tremendous offensive performance here. Again, I see things on one side, you see things on the other. I got to make sure that this team, when I see it, does whatever it can to go ahead and it just continues on, because we could fall easily back into those scenarios that we had earlier.
How many in a row is this now? 4?
This is 4 in a row, absolutely. And the Lakers are, yes, they're still in 6th place because Dallas won, so they're still in 6th place in the Western Conference. Carmelo off the bench hit 17. THD had 21. Very promising sign. Hit 1 3, which is his first 3, and he was 1 for 21 according to what ABC had.
That was 17 in a row that he missed.
Yeah, 17 in a row. That was very disappointing to see as far as that continuously. And he still stays outside of the perimeter a little bit too much for my taste.
That was a great dunk, though, that he put tonight.
When he did the crossover
game tonight.
And that's what he needs to do more often. He needs to stop staying out on the perimeter because everybody knows he can't shoot, and they're just gifting it to him. Right now, he has very little confidence. It reminds me a lot of Kelly Oubre last year when he started off so terrible at the three-point area for Golden State, and everybody was just laying off him for at least the first third of the season. Now that has turned around this year. Kelly Oubre is now actually
nothing but confidence, man.
Yeah, now it's all completely turned around, and you hope that happens for THD if he stays a Laker and is not traded. So again, a good performance offensively. You can't ask for much better than that, especially the fact that when LeBron not hitting in the first half, Malik Monk and Avery Bradley taking over. That was something I truly enjoyed and could not get enough of. You saw the team rally around him. Carmelo Anthony is getting open looks from the three-point area. That's really good to see. THT, again, if he could just go ahead and cut down on the three-pointers he tries to take himself, really can be a more consistent.
He's really improved a lot. What's really helped him in his game the last 2 games, because I think he had 21 tonight, 19 last game.
Yes.
It's the LeBron small ball spreading the floor, because all of a sudden now you notice there was numerous times when he would attack the basket one-on-one and there'd be 4 guys behind the 3-point line. And he would go in and either then pass out, or sometimes he would, try to make a layup. But it's the spacing that's been created by having 5 small guys out there who can move and having all of that open space. It's made such a difference. And then LeBron's defense has been terrific since he's been playing center.
Don't keep your hands down low with the ball right there.
Really? I mean, think about how strong the guy is. I mean, yes. He was just ripping the ball from guys' hands left and right, and on top of that, you just can't, it's unlike all of our other centers, you just cannot move the guy.
Because you can hear the definitive sound when he hits the ball, and you can hear the definitive sound when you hit
it's a hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you heard the ball a lot. Yes. So I'll tell you right.
And that was really, I mean, I thought everything was perfect for this game. It's I'm more interested in us being a good enough team to beat other teams on our off nights. And we haven't even been able to beat other teams on our good nights. But I think what we're seeing now, in a kind of ironic way, is it's almost like the clouds have cleared from all of the turbulence that's happened because of COVID and the early season injuries, both LeBron and AD being out, and Russ's chaotic arrival on the scene, But all of a sudden, I see the whole dynamic of the Lakers having shifted. And I can see the vision now very clearly that Rob Pelinka had in all of the people that he brought aboard. And I can see the intelligent roster development and management by Frank Vogel and his coaching staff, in that they've identified 2 players who are going to be gone. And we all know those 2 players are the 2 players we've been screaming about for months. Maybe they didn't get there as fast as we would like them to. And maybe they identified DJ and Bazemore as players that they maybe shouldn't have signed, but they're obviously going to get rid of them to make room for buyout candidates.
I would include Wayne Ellington in that matter as well.
Yeah, I think, Wellington is rapidly falling toward that point, because you can see all of the other guys have bought into Frank Vogel's demand that they play defense. And I'm telling you, Gerald, just look at the articles that come out tomorrow. Look at the stats when they come out from NBA.com, where you can actually see the defensive ratings and so forth. Don't look at the score. That's not the right way to evaluate the defense. The eye test is actually better, and the eye test tonight told me that we played a dang good defensive game. We won that game with our physicality and our defense.
Now, my eyes test says that it was okay at best, because again, when you're giving up 118 points, yes, I understand the pace of the game. I understand the fact that that's the way you want to go when you have a small ball lineup. But there were times, again, when the Lakers took their foot off the gas, the defense definitely followed suit thereafter.
48-minute game, Gerald. There are always going to be times like that. This is the NBA.
Well, with remember this NBA,
Bogdan Bogdanoviches who are going to
again, the Lakers have the worst stat, one of the worst stats you can have in the NBA. Most leads over 10 points given up by any NBA team to lose.
What was our biggest lead tonight?
It was actually over 20 late in the game. But it was actually during
the first half. We still won despite 2 garbage threes in the last minute.
But I meant that during the second quarter, it was actually up to 20, and then we almost lost that entire lead by the end.
We still won by 16.
And I understand
despite that. Despite 2 cheap threes at the last minute.
Oh, yeah. And again, you love to see the execution down the stretch was great. This is the last thing we may argue about, and that is Russell Westbrook got his 6th foul with about 5 minutes left in the game. I think I have to look back exactly when it happened, but
it was 5 minutes left and we had a 12-point lead.
Yeah. And so by that time we
take away 2 from the free throws that they got from fouling him. The 10-point lead, we only increased it by 6.
Well, you only increased by 6, but we were up by 24 at one point in time during the end part of the game until those garbage.
So you're saying that the only reason we won is Russell fouled out.
Sure. No, because again, you can't say best plus minus on the team, plus 22. But I can't say
this is why Russell Westbrook is entirely right to be righteously mad at the idiots who tell him that he doesn't contribute anything to the game.
I didn't say he would.
Despite every criticism, there was at least half a dozen great passes that Russ made today and great plays that he made.
But also, again, bonehead plays every now and then, crazy shots, execution.
Got to judge the whole package.
I understand
the plus minus on the team.
Yes, again, that is correct. But still, to me, when people
how many turnovers?
How many turnovers did he have tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
How many?
Absolutely. He actually had three turnovers. Three turnovers along with 13 assists. So that's what you want to see.
13 to 3. That's a pretty good 13 assists.
But you can't tell me 1 week, LakerTom, that his execution down the stretch was porous and there's mistakes. It's always a roller coaster ride with him.
Yeah, but here's the thing about the roller coaster ride. If you look at it historically, there was a great graph that was tweeted that showed the season rise of his points per possession for the last 3 years. And all 3 years, he increased dramatically in the second half of the season, and we're starting to see that now.
But also,
Russ was a contributor. Russ was a reason we won tonight. He was not a reason that we could have lost.
I'm not trying to get you mad.
It's frustrating.
Again, you're talking about the eye test. What's frustrating to you is the fact that I'm right in that the eye test shows for everything that he does positive, there are things that he does negative that make you scratch your head.
Did it net out positive?
Today it did.
13 assists.
Today it did.
13 assists. How many rebounds?
Again, today it did. Some days it doesn't, and you've got to admit that as well. Some days he makes you.
No, I take exception. I think that Russ plays winning basketball, and I think that all of the various complaints that we have heard from all of the glass half empty people who have screamed about how difficult this season has started are going to start to be shoved right down their throat. And they're going to eat a lot of crow for the rest of the season. So
I don't know.
Belly up to the table, Gerald, because you and Jamie and all of the other glass half empty guys are going to be eating their crow the rest of this season.
I hope so, but I don't think so because again, remember he's one of the main reasons why he won in that second round of the bubbles because we let him play the game that he wanted to play. And that played right into the Lakers' hands.
He was playing on a different team with different players in a different atmosphere 2 years ago.
He's the same player he's been for many years. Now, come on. You can't say that.
He's a different player because he's on a different team, and he's adjusted.
I don't think well, again, that's a different story.
How many shots did he take tonight?
Today was a great effort by the entire team. Because still, again, with him, it's always an up and down scenario where you're seeing the mistakes he's making, but you're also seeing the positives as well.
He's a reason we won tonight. He's a reason we won 4 in a row.
He's
in every one of those games.
He's also the reason why we've lost a few as well. You got to admit that.
He's also the reason why we were close in a whole bunch of them when we won a lot of games.
And he's also the reason why we gave up some as well. But again,
he's the only guy who's been in every single game. Give the guy a little bit of credit, will you, for once?
I did. I have in the past, and I will. But
the best ability is availability, and Russ is out there every night fighting hard.
I'm not trying to argue with you, LakerTom. I don't want to get you upset. Again, Russell Westbrook
is just a lack of appreciation for the guy's effort and for what he did to contribute to the win. He led the team in assists. He had a ratio of almost 4-to-1 in assist ratio,
and he had a plus 22.
And he had the best plus minus on the team. If he gave it to us every game, what he gave us tonight, everybody on the Lakers organization and every player on that team would be thrilled, except for you.
Again, I'm telling you, if he gives us that every night, that's fine. We'll take what we can get from it. But still, there are issues, always issues with Russell Westbrook. That's why he's been on several different teams over the past few years. You've got to admit that. Come on, you've got to admit that. I'm not trying to argue with you, LakerTom.
I think he's a Hall of Fame player.
I'm not disputing that.
He's a Hall of Fame player, first ballot. And I think the Lakers made the right decision to trade for him, and it's going to pay off. And you're going to be wrong. And you're just hanging on to your opinion because you refuse to see the good things that he's doing and give him a fair, unbiased, objective view.
But my opinion does not waver from one game to the next like it does with yours on him. Because again, this is what he does to everybody. He's such an enigma because he changes from one game to the next. One day he can't make a simple layup. One day he can't dribble the ball up the court. One day he does the things that are so spectacular, like you're saying. You shout from your great pass, Russ. Great pass, Russ.
You got a better balance sheet up for the guy. Here's the pluses that he did. Here's the minuses that he did.
Right now, it's still right.
I think when you look at that, you're going to find that by the end of the year, he is going to be the third superstar who wins us a championship.
Well, again, today it was definitely a good performance from him. Still, like I said, with him, you got to go ahead and make sure you're very patient with him because still execution down the stretch.
He's never played with LeBron. He's never played with anybody of LeBron James stature before. You know, I noticed in the game tonight that
Kevin Durant is not anybody's playing.
No, not as a leader. He's never been a leader. He's never been a vocal force in it.
I thought you said as a player.
Been laughed at on social media because of his immaturity.
You just said as a player. So.
As a player, he's a great player, but he's not a great player in the sense of a team leader who can get you to play the game differently and get you to adjust. And I believe that Russ has dramatically adjusted his game. And the reason he's done it is because of LeBron James.
Okay. All right. We'll see what happens again. I don't mind at all being proven wrong if that means for another championship for 18 for the Lakers. I'll take that all day long.
That's the one thing that's always true of both of us. That we would rather the Lakers win than we be right.
That is correct.
No doubt about that.
No doubt about that. I don't want to get you mad.
You got to have your priorities in the right frame of mind.
I'll take 18 banners over me being
right
any day of the week.
I've decided that I'm going to defend Russ. As long as he continues to play well like he's doing, I'm going to defend him because I do think that he is being unfairly maligned, not necessarily by you, Gerald, but the general press has just been merciless. I mean, these reporters ask questions that even a fan like I would think twice about being so rude as to ask Westbrook, and the manner in which they ask them.
And I'm not saying you're wrong on that, because you look out on social media, it is clearly divided on social media when it comes to Russell Westbrook, as those who are important against him.
Polarizing is exactly the right word to describe him. He's
polarizing.
He's polarizing, you know. I mean, he's probably next to Donald Trump. He might be the most polarizing guy in the world right now.
Do we have to go ahead and go down that road right now, please? Can we not? Can we just keep the podcast at a certain level?
6th, man, what can you say?
All right. Well, 2 shots in a row on that. Okay. 2 episodes in a row. Please stay off the stuff. Let's go ahead and try and keep it on focus on the game and the tremendous offensive performance. Once again, the Lakers.
Let's focus more on the game that just happened, you know?
Yeah. Well, 134 to 118, a tremendous offensive performance for the Lakers. It is truly something that we're going to go ahead and hopefully, as the small ball continues, hopefully continue to see happen. Hopefully continue to see the Lakers creating good shots for themselves, continuing the transition, and hopefully getting just enough defense to go ahead and get them by each and every game, because right now it's working. And I'm glad to see the Lakers do that. 8
turnovers tonight was really exceptional.
Absolutely.
5 last night, I think, or the previous game.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. I mean,
if we don't get into double-digit turnovers, it's going to be hard to beat us.
That's true. Very true indeed. But the Lakers, again, pull out the victory, 134 to 118. We'll be back on Sunday looking against Memphis, another key game. Memphis, after their great victory over the Lakers, when the Lakers thought we had that victory in hand, but they did. You know, John Morant has been playing.
It's going to be a show-me game as far as
John Morant was sensational back in LA the first time around earlier this season, and again, he's having an MVP kind of like year as well, like LeBron. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to dissuade anybody's thoughts on Memphis because I think they're playing great. Are they playing above their heads? Maybe, but you know what? They're playing with a lot of confidence.
I think they're for real.
I think they're for real as well.
We're going to be fighting for them for the 4 seed all the way down to the end of the game.
Well, they've got a nice buffer right now, and they can hopefully the Lakers can just get into that buffer and continue that win streak when they play the Memphis Grizzlies on Sunday. And we'll be back after the game on Sunday. I don't know what's going on with your cohorts in crime as far as Jamie Sweet is concerned, and also as well Sean Grice. They keep telling me about doing this night for a late night Lakers fast break, do that night. and then they can't. But before we go, did you have your all-star team in mention? Because I've got that on the bill. I told you to have that ready.
I did.
Yes, you're so busy arguing with me, and I'm just trying to say I don't want to argue with you, but you're trying to say you're arguing with me on Russell.
No, I wasn't really. I've been doing the same thing on Twitter. I've been defending Russ.
Okay, well,
enough with
take a break from defending Russ, and because I want to hear your.
Well, I apologize if I treated you like I've been treating some people on Twitter.
That's okay. I get that all the time. That's okay.
So you want to hear my all-star team?
Yes. You were supposed to be the one that was go last, but unfortunately, because those two guys out there can't get their schedule straight, you're going first. So what are your Eastern and Western Conference all-star teams?
Okay, so for the East, my starters are Trae Young, Zach LaVine, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid.
I would find a way to get DeMar DeRozan on that list.
Yeah, I thought about that, but there'll be enough people trying to do that, and I'm not necessarily a DeMar fan. So, I mean, I do think he's played extremely well, and I like how he's shooting threes now. And I would have been okay with him on the Lakers had we traded for Buddy instead. I mean, that was the plan. It would have been Buddy and DeMar. I think would have been our other two guys playing with
Buddy and DeMar, Russell Westbrook. I mean, that's another argument.
Yeah, well, that was the trade-off. Okay, so that was my West starter. That's my East starters. My West starters are Steph Curry, Devin Booker, John Morant, LeBron James, and Nikola Jokic.
You can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
I especially like the fact that you included John Morant in the starting lineup and not fall victim to the Phoenix love. Because, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, yes, they deserve to be on the All-Star team. Could you make him as a starter?
Well, I mean, this was just my opinion of who I thought.
Or Donovan Mitchell. You can.
No, and I'll even preface this by saying that.
But I really like John Morant as a starter.
I've been so busy with other things, business stuff on the side and so forth, and so I really haven't watched as much NBA action on other teams as I normally do. So some of this is based upon hearsay and just a general feeling, and probably maybe some outvoted eye test stuff that from last year, or who knows. Anyway, my benches for the East: DeMar DeRozan, and these are all sort of in order. All of them were sort of in order.
Okay.
No, they weren't, because LeBron. No, that they were sort of. I see the starters were sort of in positional order. Yeah, but the benches are in how close they were to being starters, I guess, or how important they are on the bench. So the bench: DeMar DeRozan, James Harden, LaMelo Ball, Darius Garland, Fred VanVleet, Bam Adebayo, and Jared Allen. And for the West: Luka Doncic, Chris Paul, Anthony Edwards, Paul George, Karl Anthony Towns, Draymond Green, and Rudy Gobert. Really
solid. I think the only thing when it comes to Bam is how many games has he played, because I know he's been hurt quite a bit.
Yep. But I think that he's been the best player on that team. And he's also
not Jimmy Butler.
Well, the best ability is availability.
Okay, fair enough. All right. But yeah, those are some lineups right there. I mean, that's some really good thoughts right there.
Any differences? Who did you have? Somebody else that I didn't have?
Well, I haven't come up with mine yet because I was waiting for those two guys.
Wait a minute here.
No, because I was, to be honest with you, again, these two guys can't still get these schedules right. They were supposed to already have it done already. So I said, okay, I'll have it done when they're ready. And
I'll post it on Lakerholics. So I'll post mine on Lakerholics. So
as soon as you do that for you, I'll do it for me, and I'll post it right there as well.
Sounds fair enough.
Because those two, I don't want to. I've got other names for them right now in my head that I can't say right now on the air. But yes.
Well, Jamie's. You got to remember too that I'm retired, so it's easy for me to show up whenever I want to.
Okay, but if you were privy to all the emails going back and forth, you'll understand what I mean.
Oh, okay. Well,
but it's not like I don't have a life either. But it is the Lakers again. They do have a life. They are back up against.
They are alive.
Yes, they are very much alive
and kicking.
Yes, 4 wins in a row, 134-118 over the Atlanta Hawks. We'll be back on Sunday night after the very pivotal Memphis game, talking about
it'll be our fifth win in a row, and it'll put notice on to the rest of the NBA that you better get ready for Lakers micro ball in the playoffs.
That's something definitely we have to be, as far as wary of, as far as that's concerned, because the Lakers, if they can continue to play like this, very happy for Lakers fans, very happy for everyone out there that follows us and also goes ahead and listens to us, that because it does make for a better experience. Even arguments aside, it still makes for a better experience.
Imagine this lineup that we saw starting the game tonight, except instead of Stanley Johnson at 6'5", you had 6'11" Anthony Davis.
Absolutely. I mean, even if it's last season before he got injured, Anthony Davis, I'll take that because he was actually still playing.
Well, I think he knows that there's a parallel here. AD is going to get 6 weeks off to rest right before the push to win a championship. The last time he had a big layoff right before the playoffs started, you know what happened.
Yes, I know what happened.
And it's probably,
we can get that guy back.
And to think that it was just coincidence and there was nothing related to the fact that he played his best basketball in his playoff career in that exact same situation where he had that big rest and came in totally healthy. So if he can come in totally healthy and even play close to what he did before, Atlanta, despite their struggles, are a terrific shooting team. I mean, boy, they have a lot of firepower. But the thing that struck me as I'm watching the Lakers tonight is when you got one more guy like Bradley dropping threes the way he was,
makes
combined
it so much
with
easier.
Monk, even with LeBron, and then also too, if you notice the last two games, LeBron sort of said, "Okay, guys, it's time for you guys to carry the ball for the first 3 quarters, and I'll close." Because that's what he's done the last 2 games. He has really allowed the team and put responsibility and passed the ball and created assists and created situations where he was kind of coasting, taking a lot of shots. I mean, he hardly even drove to the basket in the first half at all. And this is one of the things that's interesting because the big argument always has been with Anthony Davis playing the 5 versus the 4 is which one of those really has more concern of injury, more risk of injury, or which one of them takes up more energy, from the player. In LeBron's case, in Anthony's case, he definitely believes that playing the 4 is less energy. But I don't know about that because playing the 4, he's playing outside. He's guarding guys who are outside more. Whereas if he plays the 5, he's playing in the post, and it's more of a battle game there. Now, LeBron, it's the other way around. I think LeBron is better. The simple truth of it is we have the best 2 small ball centers in the league in LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and we're going to run that down the throat of the rest of the NBA.
Now let's hope you're right on Russell Westbrook, that he can be more continually like this, where plus minus 22, he was plus 22 to great as far as good performance on that. Just hopefully he can be more consistent and, again, keep the turnovers down. That's all we need.
Thank you, Gerald.
That's
all I wanted. Just give Russ a fair shot, man. He's a big part of why we're on this 4-game winning streak right now.
That's could be correct. Yes, as long as he's keeping down and not turning over the ball.
I will post a tweet and I will direct it at you, and I'll give you the stats for the last 5 games of what Russ's net rating has been. The last 6 games.
I know it's been pretty good. So as long as
5 out of 6 wins, and I'll bet his net rating is outstanding.
As long as he can keep it under control and keeping consistent, that's all I ask.
If he could play like he has during this winning streak, and you could say that about a whole bunch of players on this team. And all of them were players that were pretty heartily castigated earlier in the season, except for LeBron, because, he's God. So we're not going to castigate him. But anybody else.
No, people were already calling him washed.
Yeah, so. Right. Yeah, but his numbers really said he wasn't washed. I mean, AD's numbers actually said that there was a problem. But, LeBron, the last few games, I was looking at those stats that they published. He was shooting like 51% from the field, 40% from 3, and 77% from the line in the last 9 games.
shot 1 for 6, struggled tonight, but managed to somehow 13 to 24. Even though, again, the first half he looked off, but managed to go ahead.
In the first half, man.
Yeah, just managed to go ahead and play so well down the stretch. Lakers again.
He's our closer. He's going to be the closer this year. I like that.
Yeah, that's what definitely.
Well, we need to give him every break we can because, I mean, how can a 37-year-old guy be playing like this?
Well, he played virtually the entire fourth quarter, which I was concerned about because he usually comes out like right in the middle of the fourth quarter, and he didn't get that break today. But he closed out strong, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. And he closed out strong at both ends. His defense was superb in the fourth quarter.
There you go. That's all you need right now. Again, the Lakers come out with the victory, 134 to 118. We'll be back on Sunday after the Memphis game. Who knows will be joining us, but this should be LakerTom and I be right here. Who knows if those other guys will? But once
we have a new blog editor at Lakerholics.
Oh, do you?
Yes, it's Michael Heinrich, and he's Michael H. If you go to the site and see him, and he's a Laker fan from a long time. He was one of the people at the LA Times Lakers blog, and he says that I recruited him from Forum Blue and Gold, and he's been sorry for that ever since. But at any rate, maybe the problem with Michael is that he lives in Hawaii, so that makes it even
oh, gee, that's so tough. Yes.
That's so tough, So if he could, but actually, he would be, the timing could be okay. So we'll see.
He's 3 hours behind us.
So we'll definitely try to bring Michael in. You'll enjoy him. He's a very smart, erudite guy and a longtime Lakers fan. And I would say a glass half full guy, but probably more realistic than I am.
Gee, is that possible?
Well, that's pretty easy to do, I think, isn't it?
Yes, I was being very facetious.
I mean, I'm extremely optimistic about the Lakers because I've won 17 championships.
Can you say purple and gold colored sunglasses that you wear every single day?
No, I had LASIK surgery, and I don't need to wear those anymore.
It's a metaphor.
I still see the same vision now. Cataract surgery, so
all right, we better just cut this off before it gets anywhere else. But once again, the Lakers do win 134 to 118. We'll be back. At least LakerTom and I will be back on Sunday, hopefully giving you
celebrate a 5-game win streak.
Giving you a good report on that. Hopefully Russell Westbrook and the whole entire Lakers crew can do the same thing on Sunday as they did today. But we'll be back on Sunday. If you have any questions for LakerTom, go ahead, be part of the conversation today at Lakerholics.com or check him out on Twitter at LakerTom. Of course, we're at Lakers Fast Break on Twitter. Or if you have a question for us, feel free to leave it in the comments on Facebook. Love the comments on YouTube. Truly appreciate it. You guys are doing a great job on both those places, but also Lakers Fast Break at yahoo.com. Once again, we'll be back on Sunday. Looking forward to it. Hopefully we can go ahead and slow down Ja Morant just enough to go ahead and get the victory.
Well, it was good practice with Trey tonight. I thought they did a good job holding him down.
Well, let's see if we can do 2 in a row on these great
25
guards.
points was a lot less than 56.
That is true. That is true indeed. But once again, we'll be back on Sunday to report on the Memphis game right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.